contribution in the goal, but just before that I thought Spurs obviously had the momentum, having scored the equaliser, and then it settled down, and then you could see the momentum change a bit, and then Basuma, I thought was exceptional today, then got carried away in a moment, led to the goal, and an important goal for Jack and a timely goal for obviously for Man City.
After that goal, Ledley, did you think there might be another equaliser in you?
Yeah, I mean, having seen this fixture over the years, you just know it's never over. And to be fair, it's a great header by Kulusevski. He's not known for his prowess in the air, but he's attacked the ball. Great header under the bar. Edison with no chance, but I thought they deserved it. I thought they were brave the second half. We spoke about them having more of the ball, having more control in the second half, and they managed to do that. And I said if they can just create one or two good chances, then they'll believe they'll take one of them, and they did.
Joleon said actually when the goal went in, obviously it was Ake had come on for Guardiola. From a City's point of view, just defensively, really they said there's not much Ake could be doing there. It's
a difficult one when you got someone attacking the back of you, you're waiting for the ball. Yeah. You're kind of stuck there as a defender. If you pick the bones out of it, then maybe you would say he needs to look for the man before the ball, almost.
Yeah,
but it's difficult.
It's very difficult when it's happening so fast.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah,
similar.
I'd need to see it again and again to actually be able to say that.
Yeah.
In full speed.
Even stop the cross, you could argue that in the build-up, but you can always critique it, but it's a lot difficult than it looks.
Yeah.
And
I give credit to Kulusevski. He's made it his.
Yeah.
He wanted that.
It was a great performance from Kulusevski as well. But Paul, from just looking at City's performance, and I was saying before the game, and I'll get both the gents' thoughts, but it's another 3 goals conceded now. We're probably not in the best moment if you look on current results. What did you see today that maybe looks like it needs to improve a little bit from a City point of view?
I think obviously conceding goals is an issue. Conceding 4 at Stamford Bridge, conceding here against Leipzig in the Champions League, conceding again today. There's obviously an issue there. But for me, the game slowed when Doku went off. I mean, the pace that he had, the outlet that he had. When Jack Grealish came on, they played a different way. There was no real pace in the wide areas. Haaland, I thought, was very quiet today. I thought he looked out of sorts a little bit. I think maybe the first chance early on knocked him when he potentially should have scored. But the substitution of Doku, obviously through injury, it really changed the game. It changed the pace of the game for me from Manchester City's point of view. Instead of having somebody on the left-hand side that took the ball and his immediate thought was attack and go forward, Jack often comes inside, turns and brings the ball inside, and they play a different way and in a patient way. And against the Spurs team who play that way and they close them down quickly, it didn't work. But Doku was a lot more effective with his pace.
Defensively, what do you think, in your opinion, maybe needs to give it? Because it is very uncharacteristic of a City. I mean, I can't remember the last time I've seen so many goals in my seat. Do you know what I mean? The opposition have scored it. There's something not clicking as Paul.
Yeah, obviously conceding goals, and the reason for that, it'll be accumulation of things. It won't just be one standout thing to clear up. But I will give credit to the teams that have scored the goals. Like, they've been very efficient. It's not like they've had multiple chances and they're scoring. It's literally, I don't know how many chances Spurs had today, but they seem to score everyone. Same with Chelsea, same with Leipzig. So teams are recognising that possession may not be the way to score against Man City. It's literally, when you get the ball, go for the jugular and try to create that one opportunity and be clinical.
From Angie's point of view, Ledley, obviously we know injuries and a couple of suspensions there as well. That must be a real energising result for them now to really kick on, especially for maybe the players that have been on the fringe for the team a little bit.
Yeah, but also it will give them great confidence give the manager great confidence that he's doing the right thing. Yeah. He come into the game believing that this was the best way to get a result against Man City. And it's worked out that it was, to have possession of the ball, to kind of try and match them in that respect, and be clinical, like Joleon said. You have to be clinical when you come to the Etihad against a top team like City. So, very good point. West Ham and Newcastle next 2 games, Thursday and Sunday. Two tough games, so it's vital to get something from today.
So, Paul, I mean, I think I came and said to you, knowing the players that are missing now, it's a scary proposition to think of what that Tottenham team will be like when they're back to full strength. I mean,
well, from a City fan's point of view, if you haven't seen Tottenham play this year, you understand now why they set that season off so quickly. The first 10 games, how they played so well, won all the games, picked up the points. Because, there are 4 or 5 players missing that would definitely start, 6 or 7 from the squad. So with a full strength 11 there, I mean, it'll be a completely different game back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium should they have the full strength side. Not taking anything away from the players that played today, because they were excellent. They put in a real shift. And the way that they played, you argue, did they deserve to get anything out of the game or not? They did get something out of the game. And they put in a shift and they stuck to a game plan. With Spurs' full strength 11 out there, it'd have been a very interesting
And you
watch.
think about the two centre halves there playing today.
Yeah.
I mean, did Haaland have a shot in the second half?
No. I thought they boxed it really well today.
They played really well today, really well.
What were the things they did that stood out to you, Ledley?
They were aggressive. They played their game in terms of with the ball. You can see that Ange wants them to play. Every opportunity they're trying to play. There's no hardly any long balls going, and they have to be brave to do that, especially here. When you're losing the game at times, to keep believing in it, keep playing. But also, I felt that they handled Haaland physically well. Physically, they, especially Ben, got in front of him at times. They wasn't bullied by him. So that will, moving forward, give Ange a lot of quality, a lot of confidence that he can call on these players in big games.
Should they need to. Yeah. Looking at City, Joleon, Villa next Wednesday, of course. Matchday Live will be with you. What do you think's being said in the dressing room, and moving forward? How do you think we kind of come out of this little bit of a rut that we find ourselves?
Again, just be clinical. The opportunities were there in the first half to put the game to bed. You can say the game's won or lost in the second half, but there's a real opportunity to go in at half time 2 or 3 up, which then affects the morale and the confidence of Spurs, and the incentive to have to score rather than just be content with the scoreline. But going forward, like you said, Villa's not an easy team to face, but it's a similar style to what Spurs play. They play a high line. They're probably slightly better at it, if I'm honest, and it will be difficult because they are aggressive in the press. But listen, when City get it right, they're a match for anyone and really hard to beat.
We do know as well how key Rodri is to this City team. Picked up a yellow card there. It's a big miss for that game in the week, Paul.
Yeah, massively. And I don't know whether I heard it right, but Jack as well. Jack I think Jack's another one, isn't it?
With Doku going off as well.
Missing as well. That it could be a situation to keep an eye on. But Rodri, I mean, we know the value of this. I've sat in this studio before and said he's my favourite player in the Premier League. I love watching him play football, and he's key to this team. You look at the stats when he doesn't play, it's frightening. Calvin Phillips hasn't really had a look in. We know that. And when Rodri doesn't play, he looks maybe at Akanji in there, at Ake in there. He looks at different options, but it's not the same.
Lewis maybe, yeah.
It's not the same as having Rodri.
No, not at all. Best EDM in the world. Quick word on Rico Lewis, Joleon. I mean, Paul said as well the trust that obviously the manager has in him, but he did come on and you could see it noticeably again. He gave us a little something different.
Definitely.
19, it's so impressive.
I don't think we should be surprised by that anymore. Listen, there's so many times, arguably last season when he come on at Spurs. I mean, at Chelsea half time, like he's affecting the games wherever he's playing, whether it's right back or centre midfield. So he obviously the manager respects his contribution and understands what he can do. And so I don't think we should be surprised what he's doing anymore. No,
not at all. Well, listen, gents, I think that feels a nice point to wrap up on. I've absolutely loved the show today, as I'm sure everyone has at home. Thank you so much for the insight to Paul, to Joleon and to Ledley. And as always, thank you to you for watching at home as well. It's finished. Manchester City 3, Tottenham Hotspur 3. We'll be back on Wednesday for Aston Villa away. Until then, though, have a lovely Sunday and enjoy the start of the week. Good night.
Into the studio. Leap. The bell. Some of it. Football perfection.
When I speak to people about him, they say how special it was for the club.
For me, they meant a lot. They're key icons.
Absolutely 3 legends of the football club.
Made the goal that made the cup possible.
How do you recognise the importance and significance of Colin, Francis and Mike?
Good sculpture should last the test of time.
Without doubt, the greatest British sculptor working in portraiture.
It's okay, it is really overwhelming. It's a really moving thing to see.
Well, to have a statue before, you never think in lifetime, do you? It's an amazing thing what the club have done.
This is about capturing something that is the spirit of Manchester City Football Club.
Without the great players, you cannot go forward without having that base of what happened in the past.
Lee, his hat-trick!
You just lost one of the nicest people.
Over the last few weeks, I think we've been reminded of what a legend he was.
we should never forget the past.
I don't think Bell, Lee and Somerby will ever be forgotten.
These statues are an inspiration for generations to come.
To continue that as a tradition is really important, to make that a part of the DNA of a club.
For our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, it's there forever. Isn't that wonderful?